All right, I want to talk to you a little bit here about justice. Right now, we're living in a world, and hopefully Donald Trump is going to be correcting some of these real errors of our ways. We are a world that has gone truly insane, and our neighbors up in Canada are just as insane, if not more so. They're farther down the road. A good friend of the program, a good friend of mine, is Ezra Levant. He is Rebel News, which is kind of like the Blaze up in Canada. He is Jewish, and he has just been arrested. He was arrested. In fact, I want to play the video of him being arrested. He is only standing as a journalist, filming in his own Jewish neighborhood a Palestinian protest, if I can call it that. I want you to listen to what happens, the exchange between him and the police. Listen.
I allowed you to take that video. I allowed you to take that video.
So you're refusing to leave?
I'm refusing to leave.
Why?
Because I'm a Jew, I'm a citizen, and I'm your boss. And I don't leave because you say Jews aren't allowed on the street.
In the interest of keeping peace here and public safety, you're under arrest for breach of the peace.
I'm good. Take this.
This is his neighborhood. He's not an outsider. This is his Jewish neighborhood.
I'm being arrested because I'm standing on the sidewalk in my city. I'm a Jew who lives in this neighborhood, and I'm being arrested because the police say that's the path of least resistance. Loser.
Amazing. Ezra is with us now. Ezra, this is crazy. This is absolutely crazy. What's going on?
Glenn, I've never been arrested before. They handcuffed me and they took me to jail for a few hours. And they said that I had incited a breach of the peace. Now, I wasn't doing anything unlawful. I was actually just debating with those cops because I wanted to film. You called it a pro-Palestinian rally. It sort of was, but I think it was more than that. It was pro-Hamas. They had set up this really macabre display of they were reenacting the final moments of Yahya Sinwar, the now deceased head of Hamas, where he was sitting in a chair covered with blood or whatever. So these Palestinian activists came into the heart of a Jewish residential community. So they weren't protesting outside an embassy or a political target. They were just in the middle of a bunch of apartments in a very Jewish neighborhood. So they were targeting Jews as Jews, Canadian Jews, nothing to do with the war overseas. They were putting on this sort of reenactment of their hero, the head of Hamas. And I thought this was so astonishing, I just wanted to film it. I wasn't even interacting with them. I just was quietly filming it. And you sort of heard the jeering. They were saying Jews, Zionists, whatever. And so the top cop said to me that by being there, I was inciting a breach of the peace. I myself obviously was not breaching the peace, but these pro-Hamas thugs were, and they essentially vetoed me being on my own sidewalk. This is public property. I wasn't in some, private place to be trespassed or something. And the cops arrested me, the path of least resistance, which I mentioned when it happened, because there was about 20 of them, and there was one of me, and instead of upholding the law, they said, well, just take Ezra out because we know he's not going to riot. He's not going to get violent. Take out the quiet Jew and let the noisy Hamas ones continue. That's just crazy. And you know what? I don't regret being arrested because there's no way I was going to leave because they were saying, you were committing the sin of being Jewish on the sidewalk. I'm sorry, I'm not going to leave just because you say Jews can't be here. And you heard them say that as I was arrested.
Ezra, is there a chance you go to jail for this? That this is upheld in Canadian court now?
Well, I did go to jail for a few hours. Then they released me without charge. Now, I was so upset with this precedent and that was about 9 days ago that happened. So 2 days ago, these same Hamas protesters came back to that same Jewish neighborhood. And Glenn, I said, this can't stand. So I sent an email out to our viewers, and I said, come stand with me. We'll be peaceful. We won't engage with the Hamas ones. We'll just stand on the public sidewalk and just assert our rights. We'll take back our streets. And I said, be aware that we may be arrested, but if that's where we are, we need to know. So 100 people came out 2 days ago, 100 people. And the police saw my email, so they put out a tweet the night before saying that they reserve the right to arrest people. So they were trying to scare my people off. But I showed up on Sunday morning, and 100 people were there, and I led them across the street, and we stood there, and I think the police sized us up and thought, there's 100 of them. We really can't arrest 100 of them. It was no longer the path of least resistance. So we took back the streets. And it was a victory, and I think we undid that terrible precedent that was set. You can't arrest a peaceful person because someone else is threatening them.
They're doing it in England too, though. Doing the same thing in England.
Well, I'm interested in the UK. One of our former employees, Tommy Robinson, is in prison right now for publishing a documentary on X. And I always say I go to the UK because it's a dystopian time machine to see what Canada will be like in 5 years. Maybe we're further down the road than that. So, Glenn, I would say to you and your American viewers, hold on to your rights. And if you want a picture of what America would look like if you lose your rights, look at us. And that's why I was so relieved when Donald Trump won, because I think he's going to turn back some of these excesses.
I think so, too. Let me ask you, Trudeau said that if Benjamin Netanyahu steps foot in Canada, he'll have him arrested.
Yeah. Justin Trudeau has sided not just with Palestinians, because I can understand making the case for innocent civilians and being harmed as collateral damage in a war, and you can be compassionate for Palestinians. You can do that, but Trudeau has gone much further. He has been so supportive of Hamas. I don't know if you know this, Glenn. They literally made an English language video thanking Canada. He has absolutely turned against Israel at the United Nations. He routinely condemns. He republishes misinformation and hoaxes about Israel that Hamas circulates, and when it's disproven, he doesn't correct. He's whipped up what I call an anti-Semitic crime wave. For the last year, not just hate crimes, because sometimes, is a hate crime just a thought crime or a word crime? I'm talking about crime crimes. Molotov cocktails being thrown at synagogues. A Jewish girls' school in my town shot up with guns twice. Constant vandalism, constant uttering death threats, trespass, mischief, vandalism. And I'm pretty much a libertarian on free speech. I don't like it when people say anti-Semitic things, but I understand that that's part of freedom.
Yes.
But first of all, not for foreign nationals. If you're a guest in our country, if you don't have tenure here as a citizen, get out. Trudeau, instead of deporting these thugs, he's bringing in thousands of, quote, refugees from Gaza. And I would say to America, be careful, because Trudeau is bringing in hundreds of thousands of people into Canada who share these outrageous beliefs, and we have a porous border with you. So don't think that some of them are trying to get into the U.S. That's why Trump is trying to strengthen the border with Canada, and I hope it takes effect. I hope that Canada gets more serious.
I will tell you this: there are a lot of Canadians that are saying this tariff that Donald Trump is talking about with Canada will kill us and hurt America as well. If Trudeau does not abide with the border restrictions, if he doesn't fall in line with our laws, Donald Trump's not bluffing. He does not mind tariffs, and he is going to. I mean, he will crush any country that is doing damage to the United States. He means it.
I believe that Trump means it, but I also believe he doesn't want to put the tariffs on. He just is trying to get Trudeau's attention.
Yes, it's the way he negotiates, but he doesn't. The one thing you have to understand, unlike most politicians, Donald Trump never threatens. He makes promises. You do this, and I'll do that. You do this, and I'll do that. And he means it.
It's worth rereading The Art of the Deal, where he explains how he negotiates and how he reframes things and takes dramatic positions. It really is a decoder for a lot of his political talk. But what is he demanding from Canada? Nothing that we ourselves shouldn't demand from our own government. He's demanding two things from Canada. Stop the drugs coming over the border, especially China-made fentanyl that is trafficked through Canada into the States. And number two, stop the illegal immigration. Well, we should want both of those things on our own basis. And the fact that it takes our big brother in America to smarten us up is sort of embarrassing. We should have done those things on our own. And I think that Trudeau suddenly has a decision to make. Does he want to just, play to the cameras and have woke press statements? Or is he going to be a grown-up now and get serious and be productive and have a working relationship with our best friends and allies? And I don't know. I mean, Trudeau, he's so low in the polls, he may try to, Glenn, turn this into an election issue. I'm going to stand up to Trump, and the Conservative candidate is a Trump puppet. And he might try and actually run in his next Canadian election, not against the Canadian Conservative Party, but like a shadow boxing campaign against Trump. I wouldn't put it past him. He hates Trump. The feeling's mutual. Oh, yeah. Both men have disparaged each other in the past. I just look forward to the day when we get past the Trudeau era, because he's made our country a darker place.
He really has. Ezra, I'm glad things are working out. Stay safe, my friend. You are a huge target and a force for good up in Canada. Thank you.
Thanks, my friend. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.